Hello friends! Welcome back to another K-Pop 101 video. K-Pop 101 is a series in which I do my best to teach you about K-pop and kind of help you along in your journey of being a fan, hopefully. If you missed the last video, there will be a link in the description right down there. Today's video is going to be about different positions that each member plays in a group. And before I get into that, I'm going to kind of rewind a little bit and explain the process of why they're in those positions, or like why those positions kind of exist. Management companies will put out casting calls. The wannabe idols will audition, whether their audition is dancing or singing, rapping, whatever. Once they are picked, they are moved on to a phase where they train, and they're referred to as trainees then, obviously. When you're a trainee, pretty much what you do is practice all the time. Dance, you sing, you do everything to kind of prepare you and put into a group eventually. After the training period can last for months, it can last for years. It depends on if they have somewhere that they think will work for you or not. And you could be pulled from different groups and put into other groups, or you could stay in that one group that you were originally put into. It depends. After sorted into groups, they will then decide what role each member plays. And I think this is just to kind of keep things organized, in a sense. So the company decides what position you will play and kind of what your job is within the group. So as far as I know, there are 5 different categories of positions that you can be put into, or that idols can be put into. The first being the leader, and it's really self-explanatory, but I will explain it anyway. The leader is the one that is basically the face of the group, in a sense that they talk the most, or they kind of try to keep things in order between the members. They're the peacemaker, pretty much, and they're usually referred to as mom or dad by the fans because they're taking care of the other members and they kind of guide them along in their career. Next position is main vocalist. Now, you might think that this is kind of easy to spot in a group, but just like with all of these positions, it's actually not that easy to figure out what member goes into what position unless they're saying it themselves. So that's what I'm hopefully going to help you with here. The main vocalist is the one, when they're singing, they're doing kind of the high notes and the vocal runs and all that kind of stuff, while the others are singing with them. The others are their backup, and main vocalist, he doesn't always have the best voice, but they have quite a good range, and that's why they're chosen for the main vocal position. Next is something very similar to the main vocalist, but there are little differences, and that is the lead vocalist. Now, I said before that the main vocalist is the one who's doing the high notes while the others are singing. What the lead vocal does is they're singing this, like, kind of the second most amount of lyrics, and they kind of support the main vocalist, but not as a backup. Does that make sense? Similarly to that, there is also a main dancer, who is usually the one that has most of the dance solos, or they're usually in the front. Always. Actually, always in the front, unless it's a choreography where they shift around a lot to highlight who's singing. The main dancer is the focus a lot of the time. You probably guessed that since there's a main dancer, there's also a lead dancer. The lead dancer, again, supports the main dancer and will kind of fill in where it's needed when the other members aren't exactly able to do the things that they need to be doing. They'll also be in the center sometimes, but not as often. Next is the main rapper. You've probably guessed this too. Main rapper raps most of the parts in the song, will be featured very often. Like, very often. Most of the time when there's rapping in the song, it will be that one person. Now, every main needs a lead, and there is usually also a lead rapper who backs up the main rapper. Again, it's really self-explanatory once you figure it out. There's not much to the explanation of the lead rapper position. They just do extra rapping that the main doesn't do. And finally, there's one of the positions that I consider to be the most controversial because people fight about it a lot, and that is the visual. Now, what a visual is, it's the face of the group in a different way than the leader is the face of the group. The visual is all about how they look. Not necessarily like they're full of themselves and they like care about how they look, but they're usually the member that is considered the most attractive. So they're put out for people to see most often. And if you want to try to find the visual, that's up to you. Or you can wait until I do my breakdowns of each group to kind of explain it. And that's all. That's pretty much it. I'm pretty sure I didn't forget anything. Please remember one thing though. This does not apply to all groups. Not every group has their positions, and not every group uses this ranking system, if you would call it that. Some groups they just have singers and dancers. They don't have, you know, main and lead. The reason why I wanted to do this is because I wanted to explain what they are in case you hear it. I'm not saying that every group has it. Just remember that, okay? And you'll be good. You'll be fine. Thank you for joining me for K-Pop 101 once again. I'll hopefully see you again in another video really soon. I hope you're having a good day or night, whatever time of day it is for you. I don't know. Bye-bye. Bye.